Assalamu alaikum and good day. Today I will present the topic about the Bay Al-Sarf. To begin this presentation, I would like to introduce the concept of Bay Al-Sarf. Bay Al-Sarf is a contract involving the exchange of currency for currency, whether of the same or different types. This contract has been practiced since the time of the Prophet Muhammad SAW and was accepted without objection by the companions. The permissibility of Bay Al-Sarf is established through the Quran, the Sunnah, and scholarly consensus. However, Islamic law prescribes strict conditions to ensure that such transactions are free from riba, uncertainty, and injustice. Therefore, understanding the principle of Bay Al-Sarf is essential, especially in the context of modern financial system and currency exchange.
Definition by Al-Sarf. By Al-Sarf is an exchange contract of money to money, such as the sale of gold for gold or gold for silver. This exchange could involve the same type of money or two different types. So, if you want to more definition, easier is if same type, the amount must be equal and the exchange must happen immediately without any delay. Other than that, if different types, the amount can be different, but it still must be done on the spot without any delay.
Now we move on to the scholar's view of Bay Al-Sarf. Bay Al-Sarf refers to currency exchange transactions, whether involving gold, silver, or modern money. Generally, both classical and contemporary scholars agree that Bay Al-Sarf is permissible, yakni harus, but it is subject to strict conditions to avoid elements of interest. All four major Sunni schools, which is Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, emphasize that currency exchange must be done immediately or al-taqabud in a single contract session. Any delay, no matter how small it is, it can lead to riba an-nasi'ah. This view is based on an authentic hadith narrated by Muslim, which states that exchanging gold for gold or silver for silver must be of equal value and done on the spot, while exchanging different types is allowed at differing rates as long as the delivery is immediate. In the modern context, contemporary scholars expand the concept of taqabud by recognizing hukmi taqabud, such as transferring money through banks, electronic settlements, and account credits. Although there are differences in the methods used between the classical and modern scholars, the main aim remains the same, which is to avoid riba, gharar, maisir, and to ensure certainty of delivery. Now we move on to the legality of Bay Al-Sarf. From an Islamic law perspective, Bay Al-Sarf is a valid contract and recognized in fiqh muamalat as long as it meets Sharia requirements. The legality of this contract aims to avoid two main forms of riba, which is riba al-fadl and riba an-nasi'ah. Classical scholars like Imam an-Nawawi and Ibn Qudamah emphasize that Bay Al-Sarf is very important in economic and trade activities, but its implementation must comply with Sharia principles in order to prevent oppression or exploitation. In these modern times, authoritative institutions like Majma' al-Fiqh al-Islami and the Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia have recognized the validity of Bay Al-Sarf in modern currency transactions, including electronic dealings, provided that actual delivery occurs either physically or legally. However, a Bay Al-Sarf contract is considered invalid if it involves excessive speculation, leverage without actual ownership, or delayed delivery not based on Sharia requirements. So to conclude, it can be summarized that fiqh scholars, whether classical or contemporary, agree that Bay' al-Sarf is a contract permitted in Islam, but it must strictly adhere to Sharia principles, particularly the concept of al-taqabud and the avoidance of riba. This principle ensures that Bay' al-Sarf remains relevant and functions as a legitimate instrument in the modern Islamic financial system, in line with the Maqasid al-Shari'ah.
We are back again with me, one of the presenter on the topic of Bay Al-Sarf, but this time going deeper, namely the condition of Bay Al-Sarf. Bay Al-Sarf refers to a contract involving the exchange of currencies, such as one currency for another or the exchange of the same currency. In Islamic jurisprudence, currency are classified as ribawi items. Because of this classification, the contract of Bay Al-Sarf is subject to specific conditions to ensure that it does not involve any form of riba. The first and most fundamental condition is immediate exchange before separation, also known as taqabud. This means that both currencies involved in the transaction must be delivered and taken into possession within the same contractual session before the contracting parties separate. Any delay in delivery, whether involving one currency or both, is not allowed. Such a delay may result in riba al-nasiyah, which refer to riba rising from deferment. Possession in this context may occur either through actual possession or constructive possession, as long as ownership is completed according to Sharia principle. The second condition relates to equality when the exchange involves currencies of the same gens. If the currencies exchanged belong to the same gens, such as gold for gold or silver for silver, the transaction must be carried out in equal quantities, regardless of any differences in quality or form. This requirement is intended to prevent riba al-fadl, which occurs when an excess is stipulated in the exchange of ribawi items of the same kind. However, when the currencies exchanged are of different genera, such as gold for silver or different national currencies, equality in quantity is not required. In such cases, the exchange may take place at different values, provided that immediate exchange is fulfilled.
Alright, we move on to importance Bay Al-Sarf. Number 1 is preventing riba. Preventing riba in currency exchange, Bay Al-Sarf prevent riba interest in money and currency transaction because Islam prohibits gaining profit through unfair delay or advantage in financial deal. For more clear point is when same money in exchange like gold for gold, the amount must be equal and the exchange must be happen immediately to avoid riba al-fadl. But when different amount are exchanged, gold for silver, values can be different, but the exchange must still be done on the spot to avoid riba al-nasi'ah. These rules remove gharar and ensure clear ownership transfer. Number 2 is ensuring fairness in transaction. Bay Al-Sarf sets strict and clear rules to protect both parties from exploitation or injustice. In Islam, transaction must be based on mutual consent and fairness. The immediate exchange conditions stop manipulation, delays, or hidden profit from other parties. Last but not least, my last point is promoting financial stability. Bay Al-Sarf also help maintain stability in the financial system. By enforcing rules like immediate exchange, it limits unethical practice in currency trading. This reduces risky behavior, cheating, and confusion in amount of exchange. As a result, Bay Al-Sarf supports a stable, ethical, and well-controlled financial environment in line with Islamic principle.
The primary benefit of Bay Al-Sarf is ensuring the currency exchange remains Sharia compliant by strictly prohibiting riba. To achieve this, the contract requires taqabud, which means the exchange must happen directly and immediately. This mechanism protects the transaction from two specific types of riba. Riba al-fadli, access in exchange. This is ensuring fair value. And then riba al-nasi'ah is delay in exchange, where to ensuring the hand-to-hand rule. For example, when you walk into a money changer and swap RM 1,500 for USD on the spot, you have completed a Sharia compliant transaction because there was no delay and no hidden interest. That is for prevention of riba. Next is promotion of fairness, justice and transparency. Bay Al-Sarf isn't just about avoiding interest, it's about creating an ethical financial environment. By mandating immediate delivery and clear valuation, it ensures that neither party is unfairly disadvantaged. This helps eliminate two major risks in finance, which is gharar, uncertainty. Since the rate is agreed upon and the exchange is immediate, there is no gambling on future price change. Next is dispute and fraud, because the terms are transparent and the trade happens instantly. The potential for disagreement or deception is significantly reduced. For example, a traveler exchanges ringgit for Saudi Riyal at the current market rate knows exactly what they are getting, making the trade transparent and fair for both the traveler and the exchange agent. Next is facilitating international trade and global economy. Finally, Bay Al-Sarf plays a vital role in the global economy. For businesses and individuals to engage in international trade, currency exchange is a necessity. Islamic law recognizes the need and provides a legitimate framework to settle international debts and expenses. By following the Bay Al-Sarf method, Islamic businesses can participate in the global market without compromising their religious principles. For example, a Malaysian company importing Japanese goods can confidently exchange ringgit for yen to pay their suppliers. This allows for smooth cross-border commerce while remaining fully compliant with Sharia requirements. Next is comparison of exchange rates determination. The Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institution (AAOIFI) enforces a strict real-time principle requiring the use of the spot exchange rate at the exact moment of the transaction to eliminate gharar, which is uncertainty. In contrast, Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) offers a more flexible commercial framework by allowing any exchange rate that is mutually agreed upon by both parties at the time of execution. To prevent riba, which is interest, Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) prohibits the use of pre-agreed rates that was set when a debt was originally contracted if that debt is being settled in a different currency. Next point is delivery delays and technical constraints. While classical Sharia requires immediate possession, which is taqabud, the Accounting and Auditing Organisation for Islamic Financial Institution AAOIFI allows for slight delays, which is typical the transaction plus 2 days, standard if supported by customary international forex practices. BNM adopts a more pragmatic approach by explicitly including delays caused by unforeseen businesses disruption or administrative obstacle within its scope of tolerance. These legal buffers provided by BNM ensure that unintentional technical delays do not invalidate the Sharia status of a soft contract or threaten financial stability. Third is use of promises. What in currency transaction. The Accounting and Auditing Organisation for Islamic Financial Institution maintains a conservative stance by generally only allowing a single unilateral promise one which limits the complexity of derivative products. BNM provides a broader toolkit by allowing a single promise, two independent unilateral promises wa'dan and bilateral promises muwa'adah. These flexible structures allow Islamic financial institutions in Malaysia to offer Islamic forward contracts that function similarly to conventional products for hedging purposes. Bank Negara Malaysia, which is BNM, imposes strict purpose constraints on these complex arrangements to ensure they are used only for legitimate protection against currency fluctuations and not for speculative gambling, which is maisir.
Now we move to the basic rule of Bay Al-Sarf. Firstly, takabut, immediate delivery. The delivery of both currency or money exchange must occur physically in the same contract before both parties part ways. It means, for example, I and Asif, I as a foreigner and Asif as a counter reception. We both do exchange money in the same contract or akad before we both part ways. I'm going to my flight and Asif continue his job doing counter reception. Second, tamasul, equity. If the currency exchange are of the same type, for example USD to USD, the amount must be 1 for 1. For example, in a USD change, I change $100 and it must be exchanged for the same account without any excess or deficiency. Third, ibadah. Both parties must give each other currency in full or in position.
Next is Bay Al-Sarf application in financial system. The first is application and purpose of Bay Al-Sarf. In the modern era, the Bay Al-Sarf, which is currency exchange method, is applied to various financial activities to ensure currency exchange occurs without the exploitation of international currency prices. This method is essential for maintaining a robust Islamic financial system in the global economy that depends heavily on currency trading. Second is addressing challenges in foreign exchange derivative, which is challenge arise when using foreign exchange, which is FX forward, and derivative methods, as delayed delivery can contradict the fundamental rules of Bay Al-Sarf. To address this, Islamic financial institutions have developed in alternative setups, such as one-based foreign exchange, which is FX forward. A one-based forward is a one-sided promise to buy or sell currency in the future, which is considered Sharia compliant because it avoids creating a forbidden deferred exchange contract. The third point is important in sukuk and money markets. Bay Al-Sarf is vital for managing currency risk within the international sukuk, which is Islamic bond market, particularly when converting foreign currencies like United States dollar, which is USD, or euros (UR) for coupon payments and principal redemption. Bank Negara Malaysia, which is BNM, utilize these principles in Islamic money market tools, such as the Islamic Foreign Exchange (FX) swap. This swap often use a bilateral which is promises structure to avoid violating takabut, which is immediate possession rules. Possession rules, even for transactions scheduled for a future date. Next, which is fourth, critical perspective and Sharia objective. There is ongoing debate regarding whether foreign exchange, which is FX arrangements based on what truly eliminate gharar and price exploitation. This is critics argue that this product may appear similar to conventional forward contracts in form, even if they differ in legal reality.
And finally, that we can conclude in conclusion, Bay Al-Sarf is a Sharia compliant currency exchange, a contract when it fulfills three main conditions. Firstly, immediate exchange takabut, equal amount when exchange the same currency, tamasul, and the absence of deferred options such as here asharti. Both which are supported by the Quran, Sunnah, and scholarly sources, and especially its aim to prevent riba al-fard and riba al-nasiyah. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.